The Circle of Eight. 8 powerful beings in the world of Greyhawk that self-appointed themselves to keep the balance between good and evil, law and chaos. Who are they, and why did they choose to emphasize neutrality?
I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Hello everybody, Jordan here. The PH is silent. The Circle of Eight are a collection of 8 powerful people in Greyhawk that formed an organization to preserve balance and power between the great forces in Greyhawk. Originally called the Citadel of Eight, that fell apart in 569 CY, and it was then recreated by 2 of the original members and called the Circle of Eight. But from what I can tell, it was held in the same tower. So they broke up the band and got a new drummer and a bass player, that kind of thing. There isn't too much to say about the Citadel of Eight other than they had differing ideas of the direction of the group and it just fell apart. Now, the Circle of Eight, or Council of Eight, or the Eight Magi, was created in 571 CY by Mordenkainen. It was him and his apprentice Bigby that recruited new members to the organization. You'll recognize many names here on the list of wizards that were invited to be in the Circle of Eight. There was, of course, Mordenkainen, there was Bigby, then Bucknard, Dramidge, Leomund, Nistel, Otto, and Rary. Mordenkainen felt the big flaw in his original concept was the fact that not every member was a wizard, so this time around, every member was a wizard. They worked their power to influence various parts of Earth. When they couldn't directly intervene, they would sponsor groups and adventurers to carry out tasks. One such task was to explore and loot the lost caverns of Sojkanth, which became a popular adventure and was republished in 2024 for 5e in Quest from the Infinite Staircase. These mighty wizards also enjoyed adventuring themselves, and as they explored Greyhawk, they built a vast network of information and friends. This gave them a larger world picture of events on Earth. With the emphasis on the number 8, I originally thought the number held some magical meaning or significance, but it seems to be just the number of the original members. Later on, a few members left and others were gained, and while I was reading the Living Greyhawk journals, it explained that at one point there was maybe 7, and at another point there was as much as 10. Now, I could be wrong, it didn't list out when they left or joined the Circle of Eight, but it also feels like a very Gary Gygax thing to do. Let's just call this group of people the Circle of Eight, because there were 8 people in it, and my cup is in the shape of a circle. I don't know, guys, I'm making this up. So in 571 CY, the Circle of Eight was formed, and in 581 CY, just 10 years later, an undead tyrant who potentially possessed the hand and eye of Vecna was rising to power. Thus, the Circle of Eight showed up to thwart this great evil, but the evil was indeed Vecna himself. And Vecna was able to murder the wizards in the Circle of Eight, all of them except Mordenkainen. These events are present in the adventure Vecna Lives. I've actually done a video on that, and you can see it here. And it's really neat because the adventure itself comes with character sheets for the members of the Circle of Eight. Begin this adventure by giving your players copies of the Circle of Eight character sheets found in the back of this book. Explain that they are about to begin a special adventure, one that requires the skills and backgrounds of these player characters. If this doesn't work, do whatever you can to convince the players to accept these characters and no others. You don't want them using their own player characters at this time. So the adventure instructs the DM to then kill those player characters, the wizards, and then flash forward to the real player characters who start the adventure. It's a murderous prologue, if you will. Unfortunately, the player characters are not likely to have time to notice all of this. As soon as the group enters the room, Vecna attacks. He is the body in the sarcophagus. You must control the upcoming battle since you want the player characters to lose. Vecna actually destroys the wizards by using a time stop spell, and a lot of this module, it's a cool idea, but I don't think it would work today in 5e. If the PCs are meant to lose a fight, they will find a way to win. Now, the Circle of Eight had a cloning spell contingency, which went into effect the second that they were killed. It took a lot of time for that cloning to complete, and during that time, conflicts broke out across the land. The clones were not ready when the Greyhawk Wars started, and when they finally were able to replace the originals, the Circle was in a great deal of trouble. Evil had spread throughout most of the land, tipping the balance they tried to preserve. It was decided that they would split up and tackle certain hotspot areas of conflict to hopefully return balance. Aiding in those battles and tasks, the Circle of Eight was able to push a favorable outcome to the peace process that was being decided in the free city of Greyhawk. However, the Circle was not focused on treachery within, and during these peace processes, Rary killed Tensor and Autoluke. He was banned from Greyhawk itself by Mordenkainen, and Rary then fled to the Bright Desert looking into the secrets of the Solum Empire. Now, there's loads of information in the supplement Rary the Traitor, a Greyhawk history accessory, and it looks almost like an adventure, but really it's kind of a sandbox and info dump on the Bright Desert itself. It's almost like a mini setting, this supplement. It's kind of neat. After the Greyhawk Wars, the Circle rounded out the group with new members. As of Living Greyhawk, the members of the Circle of Eight are as follows: Mordenkainen, Bigby, Alhamazad, Dramij, Jalarzi, Nistral Otto, Theodane Ariason, and Warren's Starcoat. I'm assuming they were reassembled to give a jumping off point for players in Living Greyhawk. You could be working for a particular kingdom, or you could get quests from the Circle directly, or from individuals in the Circle of Eight. For as much importance as the Circle of Eight seems to have, it's interesting that it only lasted 10 plus years. Now, the members I just mentioned are still present in the current year of Greyhawk, which is 600 CY, but when 2024 5th edition came out, they rolled back much of the Living Greyhawk storyline, so the current year now is 576 CY. Also, in the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide, it says that the members' identities are supposed to be secret, but it's all plastered all over Living Greyhawk, and a lot of those older Greyhawk adventures talk about every member of the Citadel of Eight, so I don't really know what that's about. Now, I can go into more depth about some of these wizards in a future video. Have you used any of these wizards in a campaign before, either as quest givers or funny cameos? I think Wizards of the Coast wants these wizards, these Circle of Eight wizards, to have a bigger name recognition than they actually do. But I don't know, who really knows? Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing videos like this with your friends. Links down below to all the things that I do and how to support me, as well as the sources where I found all the information for this video. Thank you again, and I'll see you all in the next one.